If there's one place in the Mediterranean that catches you off guard, in the best way possible, it's Cyprus, an island where every horizon feels like the beginning of a new story. Here, sunlight meets centuries of layered history, shaping a landscape that shifts effortlessly from turquoise bays to mountain villages where time seems to slow down. Its cultural rhythm is unlike anywhere else. Greek influences grounding the south, Turkish heritage enriching the north, and British touches weaving through daily life. What you experience isn't division, but a remarkably blended identity, one expressed through food, traditions, languages, and the easy warmth of the people who call this island home. Rising at the island's center, the Troodos Mountains reveal Cyprus's wilder side, with forests, hidden chapels, and geological formations that trace back to the birth of the Earth's crust. Stand at their peaks and the island looks entirely different, quiet, ancient, and breathtakingly raw. Cyprus's multicultural character extends far beyond conversation. It's baked into its recipes, celebrated in its festivals, and carried in its stories. Yet one of the island's most captivating secrets lies not in its monuments, but in its scents. Archaeologists uncovered some of the world's oldest perfume workshops here, revealing formulas crafted thousands of years before modern perfumery existed. Even today, the island's native herbs, citrus, and wild botanicals continue to inspire artisans, bringing this ancient craft back to life. Each fragrance tells a story of land, climate, and tradition, Cyprus captured in a bottle. And this is only your first glimpse of an island full of contrasts and character. In this video, we're diving deeper into the places, people, and landscapes that make Cyprus unforgettable. If this journey already has your curiosity, remember to like and subscribe for more travel stories from around the world. Welcome to Cyprus, an island that surprises, inspires, and stays with you long after you leave. Nissi Beach. Nissi Beach unveils itself with a kind of quiet radiance, white sand, translucent water, and a shoreline that seems to blur the line between the real and the dreamlike. Stretching gracefully along 500 meters of the southeastern coast, it draws travelers from every corner of the world who come seeking its unmistakable clarity and soft Mediterranean light. Though the area has grown into a vibrant seaside hub, subtle traces of its fishing village past linger in its rhythms, lending the beach an authenticity beneath its lively surface. Its name comes from the small islet offshore, Nissi, a place reached by wading through shimmering shallows that feel almost mythical in their serenity. With the island's long summers and gentle winters, the beach shifts through a palette of blues and golds, welcoming visitors in every season. Yet even with its cheerful cafes and waterborne activities, Nissi Beach offers quiet arcs of sand where the sea meets the sky in undisturbed calm. The blend of natural elegance, coastal vitality, and cultural undercurrents gives this place a depth that reveals itself slowly, inviting you to linger. Limassol. Limassol occupies a remarkable stretch of Cyprus's southern coast, positioned between Larnaca and Paphos, where the island bends gently toward the heart of the Mediterranean. Its origins reach back to antiquity, when it was known as Neapolis, a coastal settlement shaped by shifting empires and the constant movement of ships across the sea. This prime geographic location placed Limassol on historic trade routes, allowing it to flourish as a port that connected cultures, languages, and markets for centuries. The city's modern identity reflects that long exchange, blending Greek heritage with subtle Middle Eastern influences that appear in its architecture, cuisine, and local customs. A warm Mediterranean climate, sunlit summers and mild restorative winters supports a coastal lifestyle rooted in outdoor gatherings, seaside evenings, and year-round exploration. Its shoreline, lined with golden sand and impossibly clear water, reveals why the city has long attracted swimmers, sailors, and those chasing the thrill of water sports. Cultural life comes to the forefront during the Limassol Carnival, a vibrant celebration where traditions, costumes, and music echo the city's diverse historical layers. For those drawn to the past, landmarks like the medieval Limassol Castle and the ancient ruins of Kourion offer windows into centuries of maritime power, spiritual life, and artistic expression. These sites, perched between land and sea, highlight the deep connection between Limassol's geography and its enduring cultural narrative. Blending coastal beauty with a history shaped by the Mediterranean itself, Limassol stands as one of Cyprus's most compelling cities, rich, layered, and unforgettable. Aphrodite's Rock. Aphrodite's Rock, Petra to Romeo, rises from the shoreline with a quiet sculptural elegance, as though shaped simultaneously by ancient tides and enduring myth. According to Greek legend, this is the very place where Aphrodite first emerged from the sea foam, and the soft break of the waves still seems to echo that moment of creation. The water surrounding the rock shifts in subtle gradients of turquoise and silver, while the rugged cliffs nearby lend the coastline a dramatic yet harmonious balance. Blessed with Cyprus's gentle Mediterranean climate, the landscape reveals different moods throughout the year: sun-warmed blues in summer, soft pastels in winter, and luminous gold at sunset. Local folklore deepens the allure, whispering that a swim around the rock during calm seas can bring renewal or good fortune, a tradition cherished by adventurous visitors. For photographers and lovers of myth, the interplay of light, sea, and stone creates scenes that feel almost painterly, especially in the quieter hours of early morning or late afternoon. Standing along the pebbled shore, you sense how geography and legend have intertwined here for centuries, carried through generations by the rhythm of the waves. For the most evocative experience, visit at golden hour. When the horizon softens, the sea glows, and Aphrodite's legendary birthplace reveals its most timeless and captivating presence. Larnaca. Larnaca greets you not with monuments, but with a gentle rhythm, the sound of waves against its harbor, and the quiet confidence of a city that has watched civilizations rise and fade across 4,000 years. Its modern waterfront may shine with cafes and promenades, yet just a few streets inland, time seems to blur as ancient foundations and whispered legends resurface in unexpected places. The city once thrived as Kition, a Phoenician port alive with trade routes and far-flung stories, later reshaped by Greek, Roman, and Ottoman hands that left traces woven into its everyday life. Walk toward the heart of Larnaca, and the Church of St. Lazarus appears not as a relic, but as a living sanctuary, its Byzantine stone glowing softly in the island light. The Mediterranean climate keeps the city open and welcoming, whether under the bold brilliance of summer or the calmer skies of winter. Along the shoreline, long arcs of sand like funicudes become gathering places where families linger, fishermen cast lines, and travelers simply breathe in the sea. Beneath the surface, the Zenobia wreck rests like a submerged museum, offering divers a rare encounter with both history and thriving marine life. And just beyond the city, winter brings an unexpected transformation as flamingos sweep across the salt lake, turning the landscape into a moving wash of pink and reflection. In Larnaca, the past isn't something you visit. It's something that follows you lightly, in the air, in the water, and in the gentle way the city asks you to stay a little longer. Nicosia City. Nicosia sits at the geographic center of Cyprus, a capital shaped by contrast, modern and ancient, vibrant and divided, its southern and northern halves reflecting the island's complex political landscape. Over centuries, Roman legions, Byzantine rulers, and Ottoman architects left their mark here, making the city a living archive of shifting power and cultural exchange. Remnants of this layered past remain visible in the 16th century Venetian walls, atmospheric churches, and museums that preserve the rhythm of Cyprus across ages. Its Mediterranean climate, intense summer heat softened by gentle, rain-fed winters, creates a city life that thrives outdoors. Markets spill into the streets with the scent of grilled halloumi, spices, and fresh pastries, weaving food and community into the daily fabric of Nicosia. Within the old town, narrow alleys unfold into intimate courtyards and small cafes where time seems to slow, inviting travelers to linger. For history enthusiasts, the Cyprus Museum unveils millennia of artifacts, offering one of the most complete narratives of the island's ancient civilizations. With its festivals, creative spaces, and ever-evolving cultural scene, Nicosia remains a capital that reveals its character in layers, dynamic, storied, and endlessly compelling. Troodos Mountains. High in the center of Cyprus, the Troodos Mountains emerge like a self-contained world, an elevated realm where the island's story is written not in ink, but in stone, altitude, and time. Dominated by Mount Olympus at 1,952 meters, the range shapes the island's climate and geography, its commanding height influencing everything from river paths to ancient settlement patterns. For generations, the mountains served as a refuge for monastic communities and traditional villages, allowing centuries-old customs, crafts, and architectural styles to survive untouched. Their volcanic origins reveal a deeper narrative, layers of rare minerals and rock formations that trace Cyprus's birth from the shifting pressures of the Earth's crust. The cooler air and dense forests make Troodos a natural sanctuary in summer, where travelers can wander through pine-scented trails, stone-paved lanes, and landscapes shaped by elevation. Winter brings an unexpected transformation, blanketing the slopes in snow and turning this Mediterranean highland into a seasonal retreat for skiers. Across the year, there are moments when the mountains feel almost mythic. Morning mist settling in valleys, sunlight cutting through cedar forests, or ancient chapels appearing quietly along a winding road. More than a destination, the Troodos Mountains offer an elevated perspective on Cyprus itself, its nature, its heritage, and its enduring sense of wonder. Omados Village. Tucked deep within the Troodos Mountains, Omados feels almost otherworldly. Its terraces of stone and vineyards unfolding like a village carved out of myth rather than mapped from geography. Centuries of Byzantine presence linger in the air, embodied most powerfully in the Holy Cross Monastery, where relics, ancient rituals, and quiet courtyards suggest stories that outdate written history. The landscape adds its own poetry. Summers drenched in mountain light, winters wrapped in drifting mist, and slopes that glow gold and green depending on the season's touch. Legend blends easily with daily life here, especially among the vineyards, where indigenous grape varieties and age-old winemaking traditions are passed down almost like sacred knowledge. And in the village square, where festivals flare with music, or artisans craft lace as delicately as folklore, and tavernas warm the night, Omodos reveals its truest magic, a place where nature, history, and timeless mystery coexist effortlessly. Proteus. Proteus reveals itself slowly, an eastern Cypriot shoreline where clear water, ancient memory, and gentle coastal light come together in a way that immediately holds your attention. Once a quiet fishing hamlet, The town carries subtle echoes of its past, even as it has evolved into one of Cyprus's most beloved seaside retreats. Its cultural character is shaped by centuries of Greek and Mediterranean tradition, expressed through local dishes, seasonal rituals, and festivals that keep old stories alive. Blessed with a warm Mediterranean climate, bright summers and soft, mild winters, Proteras welcomes visitors into its rhythms year-round. At the heart of its beauty lies Fig Tree Bay, a beach whose shallow turquoise waters and golden sand feel almost sculpted for slow mornings and unhurried swims. A short journey east leads to Cape Greco National Park, a landscape of wind-shaped cliffs, sea caves, and trails offering sweeping views that feel mythic in their scale. For adventurers, the coastline opens a world beneath the surface, snorkeling lanes, dive sites, and hidden pockets of marine life that reward those willing to explore. As daylight fades, Proteras shifts into a softer pace, with tavernas and seaside terraces filling the night with warm light, fresh aromas, and music carried gently on the breeze. Those willing to wander beyond the main promenade often find tucked-away cafes, quiet coves, and viewpoints that reveal the town's more intimate charm. Blending sunlit landscapes with cultural depth and coastal adventure, Proteros offers a Cyprus experience that stays with travelers long after they've left its shore. Paphos. Paphos is one of those rare places where the Mediterranean doesn't just set the scene. It dictates the pace of everything, from the flicker of morning light on its cliffs to the echo of stories carried through salt-tinged air. Stand along its southwestern coast long enough, and you begin to sense why ancient mariners and poets believed this was the very shore where Aphrodite emerged from the sea. The myth feels less like a tale and more like an intuitive truth. History rises everywhere you look, not loudly, but with quiet authority. The mosaics that still tell their stories frame by frame. The tombs of the kings carved into the earth with a precision that feels almost ceremonial. Seasons shift gently over the city, turning summers into warm currents of light and winters into a softer, contemplative version of the Mediterranean. Out on the water, travelers sail across seas so clear they seem to erase the horizon, while others follow rugged trails into the Akamas Peninsula, where cliffs and forests create a Cyprus untouched by time. By the harbor, the mood dissolves into something effortless, tables set near the waterline, seafood carried straight from boat to grill, sunsets that look curated rather than accidental. The cultural heartbeat is unmistakable during the Aphrodite Festival, when music and performance transform the ancient backdrop into a living stage. Beneath the waves, divers move through blue corridors of caves and shipwrecks, discovering a Paphos that exists entirely out of sight, yet deeply connected to the city above. Then there are the quiet places. Archaeological parks where you can hear your footsteps, or coastal viewpoints where the landscape feels suspended between myth and memory. Paphos isn't simply a Mediterranean destination, It's a layered experience, part legend, part history, part raw nature that leaves its mark long after you've left the shoreline behind. Ayia Napa. Ayia Napa doesn't introduce itself all at once. You notice it in fragments, the brilliance of its southeastern waters, the distant hum of music, the quiet silhouette of its ancient monastery rising where you least expect it. Long before it became one of Cyprus's most dynamic destinations, this coastline belonged to fishermen and stories carried across the Mediterranean by shifting winds. At the center, the Venetian-era monastery, Ayia Napa's namesake, anchors the town with a calm, stone-built presence that contrasts beautifully with everything happening around it. Heat defines the summers, gentle rains soften the winters, and together they create a climate that keeps the town's beaches alive in every season. Walk toward the coast, and the mood changes again. Nisi and Makronissos shimmer in pale gold, the kind of beaches where time stretches and the sea feels almost weightless. A short journey away, Cape Greco breaks the rhythm, sea caves, sharp cliffs, echoing chambers carved by centuries of waves, and waters so cleared, divers describe them as liquid glass. Night comes fast in Ayia Napa. The streets flip from sunlit ease to neon motion, drawing travelers with music, festivals, and a pulse that seems to rise from the ground itself. Yet, just a little north, The Thalassa Museum whispers a different kind of story, one told through shipwrecks, ancient anchors, and the long maritime past of Cyprus. Ayia Napa is never just one thing. It's a collision of calm and energy, of myth and nightlife, of hidden nature and open celebration, and that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Kyrenia Harbor. On the northern edge of Cyprus, Kyrenia Harbor reveals itself slowly, first as a curve of shimmering water, then as a port shaped by centuries of sailors, merchants, and quiet myth. What was once an essential maritime gateway now feels like a living time capsule, its Venetian fortifications and weathered stones carrying the pulse of long-forgotten voyages. The town's horizon is a seamless layering of history, Byzantine chapels rising modestly, Venetian walls standing firm, and Ottoman homes adding warm touches of wood and shadow. A gentle Mediterranean climate softens everything. Summer light gliding across the harbor, winter mornings bringing a calm that suits the town's reflective spirit. From the castle that watches over the port, the view stretches toward rugged cliffs and waters so clear they reveal every shade of blue beneath passing boats. Down at the waterfront, tavernas, cafes, and small artisan shops spill out toward the sea, offering moments to taste, linger, and simply watch the harbor breathe. Boat excursions trace the island's dramatic coastline, uncovering sea caves and hidden coves that hint at stories older than the fortresses behind them. Kyrenia Harbor leaves travelers with the rare feeling of having stepped into a place where beauty, history, and quiet mystery are not separate qualities, but one continuous experience.